is the interview with Daddy. Okay, Daddy. Let's see. We already know your age and your sex and your marital status, so I don't have to ask you that.
Yeah.
How did you meet Mom?
Blind date.
On a blind date. And who introduced you?
A friend of mine.
Uh-huh. Was it Nadine and Eddie?
Yeah.
Is that the ones that introduced y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And y'all you've seen them through the years. They're not
Oh,
real
yeah.
close
We
friends,
still
but
keep
you
in touch with them.
Still keep in touch.
Yeah, they're still living.
Okay. And so y'all had a double date with them?
Yeah. First time, yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. Was it love at first sight?
Well, I guess you could say that, yeah.
Y'all pretty much hit it off?
Yeah, we hit it off. That was yeah.
Let's see. What was your early married life like?
Well, it was pretty rough. I was going to school at the time, and well, I had a job, but it was sort of part-time, but it did turn into full-time. But then I was going to school for 4 hours a night after I got on the day shift full-time.
And that was airplane mechanics?
The school was, yeah, Tennessee School of Aeronautics.
Oh, okay. And so how long did you go to school?
That was about another year, I think.
And where were you working at the time?
I was working at Nashville Airport
Okay.
for Avco Corporation.
Avco.
Yeah.
And then you were going to school at 9.
Yeah.
And what was Mama was?
She didn't. She didn't work then. Oh, she didn't work.
And y'all, where did y'all live?
We lived on the airport. It was a Army barracks on the airport that they had converted to apartments. Or duplexes, like we had it like a duplex.
Oh, okay. So the first apartment was kind of small and.
Yeah, it was small and still had a worst thing about it, had an ice box.
Oh, an ice box.
Yeah.
No refrigerator.
No refrigerator.
Oh gosh. Did you have like ice?
Yeah.
You had to buy. What? How did it come?
Yeah, blocks of ice
Blocks
about
of ice.
every other day, I believe.
Oh. Wow, that's wild.
And an old the gas, it was like a coal oil stove, kerosene stove, I guess.
Oh, huh. No air conditioning, huh?
Oh, no air conditioning. But fans, I don't remember the heat wasn't bad. You know.
And that was in Nashville, right?
That was on the airport, yeah, Nashville.
And so then Lolly was born. What?
Yeah, while we lived in that barracks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was living.
And then when did we move to?
Well, as soon as I finished school, I got a job offer from a airline in New Jersey, Cape May, New Jersey, and accepted it and went up there.
Was that Capital?
No, that was the U.S. Overseas
And
Took
then
Lolly in a basket. You were in a basket. Well, it was really a baby basket they had back then. You know, it had a single handle on it, a straw weed basket. You were real young, less than a year old.
Didn't we fly up there?
Well, after we were there, probably a year or so, y'all flew back to Nashville one time.
Huh. I guess that was the first time we
We left there in 54.
And then we went to
Washington.
And is
With
that...
with a major airline then, Capital and major airline, and they paid about twice as much as the other one did. So,
Well,
you know, and they had a lot
better.
of benefits and everything. So I went with them then.
We were doing
But it's a
better.
good thing I did go. The other company finally went bankrupt, went out of business.
Huh. And then we lived there.
Another 2 years, and then we moved to Atlanta. It was a transfer. It wasn't a change of companies. It was something with
It
the
was
same
still with
company. It was
Capital.
a transfer to Atlanta. Yeah.
Did you get to choose Atlanta, or did they just...
Yeah, that was put out by a what they call a bidding process. Station. Atlanta was just, they had just moved the maintenance into Atlanta, and really a lot of the people were from the Washington area. They didn't want to go down south, you know, but I had been to Nashville, so I wanted to be closer to Mama's home in Nashville.
Okay, and then we were in Atlanta. We weren't there very long, were we? About a couple years or something, or was it even that long?
I'll have to go get my paper now. I can't remember that either. I think we were there 2 years and then went to Chattanooga. We're working our way back to Nashville.
Was that the idea, work your way back to Nashville?
Yeah, we never made
okay.
Chattanooga was, you know, it was just still a small town. And, it was really a
I remember we liked
nice place to
Chattanooga.
live. Yeah, real nice.
I guess that was, I guess that was our favorite place.
Yeah,
Growing up.
that was a great place. Yeah, we kind of settled down. I think we were there 4 years, weren't we?
Yeah, I guess we
We were there till 62.
Yeah.
You had
Because I went from 3rd to 6th grade
turned it
there.
off.
Huh? We turned off now? Okay.
Lived in Chattanooga from 1957 to 1961.
Okay.
5 years.
Hmm.
And then United took over Capital, or they merged in 1961, and they abolished a job in Chattanooga, and I had to go to Chicago.
And we didn't have a choice.
Didn't have no choice on that. It was either go or be laid off.
Hmm. And Capital actually was bought out, didn't they? Merged.
Yeah, they merged. Yeah.
Hmm. And then we were up there.
Well, we came back to Atlanta in '64 for 4 months, and then went back. Had to go back.
Was it just 4 months? My goodness.
Yeah.
And then we were back up there for how long? 60,
We were up there till
67?
67. 67 then to 79, we came back to Atlanta. And then when they moved into the new airport in Atlanta, well, United decided they didn't want no part of it, so they pulled everybody back out of Atlanta then and sent them to Tampa in 79. And then they did the same thing 2 years later down at Tampa. They did the same thing and sent everybody to Los Angeles. 82 to 84 in Los Angeles.
And that's when you and Stan and
And Bo.
And Bo got an apartment.
Yeah.
And Mama and the girls came to visit.
Yeah,
And you and the guys went to visit.
We traveled back and forth. We never did move to Los Angeles. We just kept our home in Tampa and commuted back and forth. And in '84, I got transferred from Los Angeles to Houston, Texas. And I was there 3 years and then got transferred to Miami from '87 to '88. And finally got recalled back to Tampa from '88 to '92, which I retired on 2/29/92. You see everything? You saw that, didn't you?
Boy, oh boy.
But that, that was real turbulent years at the airline before anything had settled down as who was going to do what, and deregulation come along, and they shuffled people around again. I mean, I wasn't the only one who got shuffled around. They were practically everybody at the stations.
And you didn't have a choice in any of this.
No, they jumped in and out of stations, and nothing was consolidated or nailed down unless you were at a big station. If you were at a big major station, you were safe. But all the small stations, they jumped in and out all the time.
Well, how was that for you and Mama?
Well, they come along with this closing stations and everything, and I had 4 children, which had to keep the medical benefits up. So I didn't have much choice. I had to go, because the minute I took layoff, I wouldn't have had any medical benefits. So it's hard, sure, it's hard, but I don't think I'd do it that way again. But at the time, back then, the jobs were sort of a lot harder to get than they are nowadays. In fact, if you had an airline job, you had real good benefits, real good. And they still have good benefits. But it's awful expensive. But some of the moves they paid for, but some of them they didn't either. Washington, Atlanta, they didn't pay for that move. The only move they paid for was when they closed Atlanta and sent me to Chicago. They paid for that move. And to come back to Atlanta, I paid my own way. But then
when they sent us back to Chicago the second time, did they pay for it then?
No.
No?
But then when they closed Atlanta down altogether and I had to go to Tampa, they paid for that move. And when they closed Tampa, sent us to Los Angeles, they would have paid for that. But I did not move, so they only paid my expenses, driving out there. They paid for the hotel then for 90 days. But that was all the paid moves they paid for.
Now you retired with how many years?
37 years.
And how did you feel about retirement? Did you were you kind of afraid to do it? I mean, or were you?
No.
What was your feeling about retiring?
I was ready for retirement because so much had changed. Nothing was done like it used to be done. They wanted more work out of you, for more responsibility out of you, and the work just changed over the years.
You were ready to move on.
Yeah.
And has retirement been what you thought it was going to be?
No, definitely not. Because forces beyond my control.
Situation with
Yeah.
with
Situation.
Yeah. So ideally, what would you want to do during your retirement years?
I would have traveled more. Travel around. 'Cause you get free passes, you might as well take advantage of it, you know.
Okay, so, I mean, do you feel like you can still do that? I mean,
No.
if Mommy passes in the
No.
next couple of months?
I feel like I'm a little old for that now.
Huh? Okay.
Well, you know, you like to go to the beach. You can't do that anymore on account of the sun. You know, that's the sun. Of course, I've been doing that for the last 10 years probably. Can't stand the hot sun anymore. And then a lot of things like going to the mountains. Well, we had a lot of the mountain time. We did have the cabin up there. It was nice.
So you felt like...
But we never got the full enjoyment out of the
Right.
cabin. All you set up there, you know, she had to be close to the telephone all the time. You couldn't hardly go to town. But she, I wanted the phone ring. I wanted the, you know, your mother'd been in good health or something. She wouldn't have to worry about her. But, you know, I understand how she felt.
You feel like that it just didn't turn out the way you intended to.
Well, no, it turned out all right. I'm not complaining, but you know, I guess everybody dreams of retirement and travel, but it's just for a lot of people it don't work out that way.
But you're glad about. I mean, you got the cabin and you had the mountains and the beach. You had the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And
But if there hadn't been outside problems, it would still have it. Still have it.
Yeah.
Still have it.
So, are you glad now that y'all decided to sell both those places and just have this place? How you feel about that? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I don't know. I like Florida awful good. I would have never left there, but trying to run back and forth from up there to the Florida that was getting old. Plus dangerous.
Being on the road.
All that on 75 is dangerous now.
So, you feel like this is pretty much where you're going to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, you don't feel like you and Mama could still do some traveling?
We could. Mama's not one that really likes to travel, you know. She don't really enjoy going to, you know, I'd like to go to the Grand Canyon, but she don't have any joy in stuff like that. I mean, probably because of her mother. Who knows?
Well, but if that is not, I mean, if that's not in the picture anymore, if Mommy, you know, I mean, we all know she's going to be gone soon.
Yeah.
And, you know, is that a possibility?
Yeah, it's still a possibility.
I mean, you don't feel like you're too old?
No, I'm not really too old, but, you know.
I mean, physically, you're still, I mean, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of health problems? I mean, you have your blood pressure, but you pretty much keep that under control.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you still are...
Yeah, I can still go.
Yeah. In my class, there's like the young old, and then there's the old, and then there's the oldest old. And y'all are in the young old.
Yeah.
Young old is.
Well, we're very
75.
fortunate that we're as healthy as we are.
Yeah.
Very fortunate. Yeah.
You're both just in good health. You know, just if you can just kind of stay on top of things.
Yeah.
So, well, let me see. What else is in there? Let's see. You were born in West Virginia, right?
Yeah, West Virginia.
West Virginia. In
27.
Ethnic background. Do about what your ethnic background is, where your grandparents came from?
Well, yeah, they were in the grandparents were in West Virginia all the time. They left Virginia to migration going west.
Mm-hmm.
They left Virginia, but then they came to West Virginia and decided that was where they wanted to stay. So,
Well, what country over in Europe? Do you know what
England.
country? England? From England. And that did they come originally? Who came over originally?
well, now Shelby knows a little more than I do about it. He traced it back some way, but they always said that there was an Allen shot a rabbit out of season over in England. And the punishment for that was either immigration, sent to the New World, or prison.
Oh.
Common person wasn't allowed to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
In England. It was for kings only.
Oh.
To get away from the oppression, they decided they would move to America.
Hmm.
And they did, and they settled in around the Richmond area over in Virginia.
Uh-huh. Huh.
And so my daddy had 3 brothers, and his daddy had, I think he was an only child, Jacob Allen. But he run a grocery store.
Mm-hmm. Your grandfather did?
Yeah. But mostly everybody else worked for the railroads then, because the railroads were the time, the turn of the century, they were the ones that were doing all the expanding and hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy come back from World War I. He got a job with the railroad then.
So he was in World War One?
Yeah.
And what did he do in World War
He was in the engineers. Went to France. I don't think he was ever in any combat, but you know, they built bridges, all that, railroads.
And he came back and went to work for the railroad
Yeah.
in West Virginia.
Got married and worked for the railroad.
How long did he work for the railroad?
Ooh. Yeah. About 20 to 40, I think he was 44 when he died. I think that's 45. Probably about 20 years.
Did Grandma Allie get a pension from the railroad?
Yeah, it wasn't nothing. See, at the time he went to work, clear up till 40, well, after the war, 46, they worked, they just worked themselves to death. They had to work 7 days a week, 8 hours. There was never no vacation time, no time or days off or nothing. 7 hours a day. I mean, 8 hours a day.
We don't know how good we had it, do we?
You better believe you don't know what you got. I mean, that common sense will tell you that'd kill a person early.
Yeah.
That plus cigarettes would, you know.
He smoked. Pretty heavy smoker.
Yes.
And he died of.
He had a stroke, heart attack.
At 44.
I believe he was 44. I'm not. I can't remember the exact date he was born.
How old were you?
I was 17.
17. And you were the youngest then?
Yeah, I was in the services.
Oh, okay. You graduated high school, or you went in the service and got
No, I
graduated
just
in the service?
graduated and went right in the service.
Went in the service.
45. Yeah.
And that was the end of World War II, wasn't it?
Well, the war was still on when I went in. Yeah.
And where you were sent to China?
I was in Paris Island, South Carolina.
And is that when D-Day was, or whatever the end there?
I think that was right after that. I had come out of Paris Island, and they were sent up to Quantico, Virginia, Marine Barracks up there. We were scheduled to be shipped out to Okinawa or somewhere over there, but that was all canceled in the war.
Good. And so then you went to go to China?
Yeah, the occupation of China, then they sent it over there for that.
How long were you there?
That was 2 years. Almost 2 years. 14 or 15 months.
And what about Grandma Allen? Now, when your dad died, what did she do?
Well, she was living, taking care of her mother at the time. Well, she didn't. Her mother didn't require a lot of care, just somebody to be in there in the house with her. And so she moved out of the house we had and went in with her mother.
And moved in with Grandma Bertie.
Yeah, to take care of her because Grandpa Wicker died then. Right after Daddy did.
Oh. So your dad died, and then shortly after.
Shortly after, it was within a year or two. Grandpa Wicker died.
What did he die of?
Well, now he was older. He was what did he have? Oh, they stuck that tube up in what, some bladder trouble or something? Anyway, it wasn't real serious, but sometime during the night he pulled that tube out and tore himself, and they think he bled to death. Yeah. Yeah, if he survived that, well, he may have, who knows, he may have had, bladder cancer or something like that.
Back then, they just couldn't do a whole lot. So then, Grandma Allen, did she live there with Grandma Bertie then?
I forget what year that was, Grandma Wicker died. Gosh, we went to the funeral, didn't we?
Well, Grandma Allen died in 87. I remember that. That was 87.
Must have been Grandma Wicker, must have been 78 or 77 or 6 or something like that. But I didn't get to go to her funeral because I couldn't get off.
Now, what did she die of?
It was mostly old age. I think she was 98 or something. She was way up there. But she was in good health right up until the last.
And she had her mind too, didn't she?
Yeah.
Her mind didn't. She didn't get dementia.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, you got a sister and a brother. You're the youngest. And they're all living.
Yes.
Let's see.
Now, Mama's still off, still here Memorial Day. I think I'm going to plan on going to West Virginia.
Oh, y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good.
I'd like to go up there, Memorial Day.
Now, they
missed the last two.
They had something special going up there?
Well, that's that's the time they all get together for Memorial Day.
Oh, okay.
Shelby will go, but now I don't know whether Morales will go or not. Bad shape. She gets her intestine blockage. She got to be close to the to her doctor and close to the hospital, close to her bathroom or, you know, her home. Just feels more comfortable there.
How's Paul doing?
Oh, he's doing all right. Thanks to her, yeah.
And Shelby and Joy?
Oh, they're the best health, I guess. They travel. Well, they did travel, but now they go out to Oklahoma to see Stephen, and they go to New Jersey to see Christy. So.
And they still live in North
They'll
Carolina?
go, yeah, still in North Carolina, and they go to Florida in the wintertime.
What in your life are you the proudest of?
Well, my family is the proudest of. I don't know what I'd do nowadays if I had to try to, you know, 4 children and they were wild like most of these that's running around out here. That's,
Yeah.
Oh, times have changed.
Yeah.
Man.
Man, we were little angels
Well,
next
you
to
better believe,
what's
yeah.
going on these days.
Yes.
It's a different world.
Different.
Oh gosh, the next one. How's life different today from the way it was 50 years ago? 50 years, let's see, that was 1949, yeah, 1948. How different is life than...
Well, the prices are a lot higher.
Oh, yeah.
There's a more modern conveniences, and, you know, it's a lot better than it was back then.
As far as conveniences and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. As far as what the average person has, too, you know. And, very few people had a house and a car.
But you always managed to, we always had a decent place to live, and we always had a car that would take us where we needed to go.
Oh, yeah.
We had the necessities, and we had...
Well, now, Mama worked a lot, too, you know. She worked,
Mama worked on and off through the years.
yeah, on and off, over at that hospital. She worked over there, you know, midnight for a long time. Did she? She worked in that, what they call it, preemie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she liked that job. But that was midnight. That was hard on you.
Now you went to the aviation school.
Yeah.
And got, what'd you get?
Well, to work on aircraft, you have to be licensed.
Oh.
It's like, you know, just like nursing, you got to have a license for certain things. So to do certain things on airplanes, you still got to be licensed. After I went to school, I had to take the government test, and I got licensed.
You had to keep that up every year?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, they kept it up every year. You had to get re-qualified on certain things. Anytime something you came out, you had to
Yeah, you used to go to school. They used to send you to school on and off
at least
for
probably
years.
2 weeks out of the year you go.
And didn't you pretty much like your work?
Oh, I love my work. Yeah.
Well,
That means a lot.
that means
Yeah.
means a whole lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. You've never been involved in politics, have you, Dave?
No, but I realized how important it is to vote, though.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very important.
So you always voted?
Oh, yes.
Okay. How do you feel about government programs like Social Security?
Absolutely. They need all those programs.
Let's see. Let's see. You ever heard? Oh, this. In fact, when Mommy does her little moving up, have you ever heard of Elder Hostel? I'm going to get you and Mama some information about Elder Hostel.
Oh.
It's active, real active program. It's called Enrichment of Life Movement. It's like almost, I mean, it's kind of like travel. You can travel. It's like they have elder hostels, in fact, all over the world. But there's one up at Red Top Mountain, and we went up there in my class to visit it.
Yeah.
And they have like different kind of seminars, and then they'll have different trips. They do trips to the Grand Canyon, and you go with a group.
Yeah.
You go with a group.
Well, see, we have that with the retirees. In fact, they're having
okay.
the convention in Boston next May. Boston, about 4 or 5 days.
So
and they take you on. Once you get there, they take you on buses, you know, to the waterfront and everything else around Boston.
Does Tom and Helen?
We can't go.
Well, but you can. You can now.
Last year they had it in San Diego. We couldn't go. The year before that it was right here in Atlanta. We couldn't go.
So,
I'm not saying I would go, but I'd like to be able to say.
You'd like to be able to decide.
Yeah, the big one's in Boston.
So, do Tom and Helen, do they ever do those kind of things?
I think they went to the one here in Atlanta.
You think that if, I mean, would you say that they're, who's y'all's closest friends, I guess, that you would want to do stuff with?
Well, Tom and Helen are Stan and Barge. They're good. The Bowleys, they're all non-smokers. Got to do stuff with the non-smokers.
Yeah. And so you if when Mommy does this thing, then y'all will have an opportunity to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you'll most likely take advantage of some of it.
Yeah, that one last year, San Diego, I'd really like to go there.
Oh, I bet that was nice. Oh, Boston will be nice.
Yeah.
Boston.
I've never been up that far.
Oh, yeah. That would be real nice. Well, y'all have to plan that. Let's see. Got that. And your health, we talked about that. Your health is, how do you feel about your health?
Well, blood pressure's the only thing, right?
And you pretty much got that under control, right? With the medicine, I mean, it has to be.
You got to take on the medicine.
It has to be adjusted sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's controlling, and you eat. You pretty much eat right.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Even with Mama not here, you're still eating.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. How about your health care? Do you feel good about your health care?
Well, I don't know. These doctors, they want you to, once you go, they want you to have all kind of tests.
You think more
a yearly physical is something that you should do, but it takes up time. And the other day he said, well, now the number one killer of men now is colon cancer. So you need to be checked for that. See, he took my blood pressure, checked all around my heart and everything. He couldn't find nothing else. So he's saying, well, now at least every 2 or 3 years you ought to have a check for colon cancer. See, but they're going to keep you on doing something now. If it wasn't that, see, he'd say, well, you need to have a electrocardiogram or something. Check your heart, or a stress test, or something. They're going to keep you coming back.
But you feel like you have good health care. I mean.
Yeah.
And you found a doctor up here now that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And you got good health insurance, right? And your insurance carried over pretty well.
Well, everybody's under the impression that Medicare is free, but Medicare is not free. They
you got A and B?
Yeah. That's a $43 a month premium on that for Mama and me. So that's $86. And then you go in the hospital, it's over $575, I think, to go in the hospital. You got to pay up front.
So your health insurance from United, you don't have that anymore?
It will, yes. I still have that.
Oh,
They'll
okay.
pay 20% of what Medicare doesn't pay.
Oh, okay.
But you got to have major illness before they pay anything, say. I mean, you got to have like an operation or something. Yeah, if you got major operation or something, that kicks in. But these just go into the, like you get your blood pressure checked and a routine physical or whatever.
Nothing pays for
they
that.
don't pay any of that. So
So
that when I went to the
you don't have you don't add all those up and then have a deductible, and then after that it pays a percentage of all that?
well, usually Medicare will pay like 80%, see,
Oh,
and then United Insurance will still pay that. But like I went to the doctor the other day for the eyes, when that eye test, going downtown, he sent me a bill for $89. No, $98. $98. He sent it to Medicare. Medicare come back to they won't pay it because every year it's at the first of the year it goes on $100 deductible.
Oh.
So that goes towards the deductible this year. So I have to pay that. Then the next, if I went again seeing another $100 bill, then they would pay.
Then they pay.
Probably $80.
Yeah.
80% of that. But you need a little policy besides Medicare. You keep up your insurance when you retire, just to do it.
And hopefully.
As long as it's not too expensive. See, I kept up the dental insurance, but it was like $60 a month. You can't afford that. I mean, you'd have to have something major where it would pay for itself.
Let's see. What do you think are some advantages and disadvantages of getting older?
Good, great.
What's something good about getting older?
Well, retirement, I guess, the best thing about it.
And what are some of the disadvantages?
What? Yeah. Yeah, little aches and pains. It limits your freedom a little bit, Like you used to like to hop in the car and drive anywhere, but nowadays you kind of think twice about doing that. There's so much heavy traffic on the roads, and you just see a lot of accidents that scare you. That the big trucks get caught in the middle of a bunch of those big 18-wheelers. That scares you, doesn't me? That didn't used to bother me. Of course, it wasn't near as much traffic and trucks on the road then.
So the world's just a busier place.
Population.
Let's see. Do you notice changing in advertising in recent years that suggests advertisers are paying more attention to older people? You see more older people in advertising? Or do you think not?
Yeah, I think there's more advertising. Mostly for health care. They all advertise for that,
Yeah. Let's see. What is the most significant world event that you have lived through?
Well, the end of World War II.
Why was it so important?
looking back now, but I can see where I was being positioned to go into the invasion of Japan, and that would really been putting your life in danger.
Mm-hmm. So for you, it was like when it ended, it kept you from going into combat. You would have gone into combat.
Yeah, I was all set up to participate in that.
What do you think as far as world implications that it had? How did it change the world? I mean, the world view of things like that.
Remember that?
Just let's get close to the end here.
Yeah, you got to be picking Sterling up bad.
What is
Oh,
your
yeah.
general outlook on life, Daddy?
Well, you gotta look on the bright side. You gotta take it all with a grain of salt sometimes. You just can't let things get you down. The grass was great.
Okay. We can. What I'd like you to do, Daddy, is take this longevity test,
Yeah.
and I'll just let you do it, and then I'll put the results in my paper.
Right.
But we won't do that. Okay. Well, I guess we're done. A little tidbit here. Daddy started out in 12/14/54 as a mechanic and was hired at a starting salary of $1.95 an hour. Whoa.